in this direction.
The electricity. You're talking about electron flow or hole flow?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm,
All right, let's go to Facebook. Hi, everybody.
hey there. I hope you appreciate my green screen. Looks like I'm in a construction area.
Oh, Ranger Craig is now a grandpa, or he's going to be a grandpa.
What? Oh, that's right. I saw a picture.
Yeah, he dropped something on Facebook on the 18th. I totally missed it.
I thought he had his. Is it his daughter?
Mm-hmm.
I saw his, the couple, and they were showing a picture, and it was Craig was tagged in it or something. So it's great.
It's the same. There's only like one ultrasound image in the world. They just
Oh, really?
play the same video over and over, and when they take the snapshots and print them out.
Yeah.
Here's the baby. You can see the head. There's the spine. Yeah.
Hey, Will, I will embarrass my son a little bit. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but when we went to the ultrasound, they said, "Oh, look, you're going to have a baby girl," and then she goes, "Wait a minute, I'm not sure because of the way the baby's sitting. So why don't we take a break? Y'all go drink, Kim go drink a Coke or something or Dr. Pepper, and then that would kind of get the baby moving." And they take another ultrasound. So we got one. She goes, "Oh, look, it's a boy actually," and there he is, in the fetal position, of course, and the ultrasound.
Yeah.
And it said Winky. Has a little arrow pointing to the Winky. I'm not going to lose that one. We'll keep that around.
Oh, you have the picture?
Oh, yeah.
It's like astronomers have the wow signal.
Yeah, this is the Winky.
Very famous in history. The wow signal and the Winky image.
That's right. That was pretty great.
What do I have? Somebody else texted me. What's going on here? Oh, you and your fisheye image. I see. All right.
So
ready to get started?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we can talk about it on the show for a minute.
Let me clean these glasses. It's not until I turn on the lights in the studio that I go, man, my glasses are dirty.
I know, mine are filthy.
I grilled hamburgers today. That'll make a mess of things.
I know. I know after I grill something like that, you see like little speckles all over your.
This wasn't speckles. It looked like a foggy day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I've grilled before, but this is probably one of the worst times when the smoke was just in my face, making my eyes water the whole time.
Yeah.
Like there were times I could not see. My eyes were stinging and watery so bad. I'm like, I'm just gonna reach in and flip stuff. I can't see.
Yeah. I hope I flipped them all. One burger's still raw on one side.
It was nice. It was a nice day. We had the Tylers were over, and we had Steve and Teresa from Wisconsin. Our cruise buddies came out for the retirement party yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk more about that in the Patreon show if you want.
Yeah.
But the party was officially over at about 5, and most people had left. I think a few lingered till about 5:30. But Steve and Teresa hung out. You'd think they were sleeping here. We were there till 10:30 before. We were just on a patio, chatting away, catching up, telling stories, and then said, "Hey, you got any plans tomorrow?" No. Come on over. The Packers are playing at 10. So we had 3 pairs of former or current Wisconsin people.
Oh, they're from Wisconsin as well?
Yeah. They lived about 10, 15 minutes away from us. Teresa works at Plexus. She just celebrated her 30th anniversary where Donna and I used to work.
Yeah.
So if Donna were still there,
you didn't get to do that.
What, 30 years?
Were you there 30
I'm
years?
not missing it. I was there 22. That was plenty.
No, I'm sorry. I was just making a joke. I was like, too bad you didn't get to celebrate 30.
I would be coming up on 37 in January if I were still there.
Right. Okay.
And you know what? I have no regrets. In fact, that was probably one of the most fortunate things in my career. And I'm still unemployed.
Yeah. Well, by choice at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Tough choice, but I made the choice. All right. Should we make a podcast?
Yeah.
We have a viewer. Feel free to comment. We're here.
Please.
Heckling is encouraged.
Yeah.
The show basically runs on sarcasm.
Is that what it is? Oh, that's our secret sauce.
And self-deprecating humor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let us begin. Lettuce, mayo, and bacon. Let's see. Checking audio levels. How about you?
Sounds good to me so far.
You're a little low.
I'm a little low. Well,
I'm
next
feeling
weekend, I'm hoping everything works out right. I'm going to have my regular studio stuff in here, and and this hall will be finished, and I'll have my desk and boom mic and everything. So hopefully, things will sound and look a little different next time.
Bring you up just a little bit. Go. Talk. Hi,
Oh, yeah,
Craig.
you're talking. Is that any better? Hello.
Sure.
Technorama pre-show. Chuck Tomasi and Stephen Craig. What?
What?
No.
Who?
Oh, hey Karen, how you doing?
Karen. Nice to see you. Doo-doo. All right. Enough of the pre-show banter and technical check. Let's make a podcast. You ready?
Let's do it.
For what's today? 22nd. Tomorrow will be 23rd. Good. Just getting my bearings. I wake up in the morning and the first thought is, what day is it again? I'm losing track. I mean, I've always thought about that. What day is it? So I can know to panic or not.
Panic. You don't have to, what are you panicking? Oh, Sunday.
Oh my gosh, I've got a 7 a.m. meeting.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Well, now if it's Wednesday, I've got 7 o'clock meeting at Church with Men's Breakfast Bible Study Group.
Right.
That's about it. Okay, here we go. Recording. Let's go this way. And then 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 754, Space Tourism. Can we all hitch a ride? Hello and welcome to Technorama, the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. My name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and still in the shed in North Carolina, excuse me.
Yeah.
Hey, after 20 years, you got to give me some slack.
I know. Well, you're retired, so what do you care?
I have to look everything up now. I don't remember anything. It's Craig. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing well. If you've been watching the show for the last few weeks, you've probably seen my progression from going from podcasting literally outside to podcasting in a shed. Now I got electricity. So hopefully soon it'll be finished and I'll have my stuff in here. So you'll be able to literally watch the progression of my shed.
Put it in a time lapse thing, one of those Google images that shows. It'll
should.
look like H.G. Wells' time machine as things go by.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And just so the listener's clear, you are there electively as your office / studio. This is not banished. You know, Kim has not kicked you out of the regular house.
I don't know if I can say that. I think both are true.
Just go with it. It's better for the brand.
Hey, both can be true, Chuck.
At the same time.
Yeah, this is my doghouse. No, this
get out. You know what? I want to go out there.
Yeah. Well, when I do Zoom calls and stuff for work,
yeah,
you really need a little privacy. And my home is not very big, so the option was to build a shed or put a shed up. And we ordered one and it's getting all set up. But between weather and getting people to show up to do the work, it's just been a slow progression. But we're getting there.
Some yourself.
What's that?
You could do some yourself. There's no reason why you couldn't be sticking insulation in and doing some drywall.
Oh, insulation? No, that's not a problem. It's the sheetrock. I don't want it to look like garbage.
Sheetrock's easy.
Well, you come on out.
It's the mud and tape that I won't do. You gonna texture it? What are you gonna do?
That's the mud and tape and the sheetrock is that's the whole
Hanging
thing.
Sheetrock is different than putting texture on and the mud and tape.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, so that's the thing that's left, and then a mini split, so it's not noisy in here.
Right.
Other than that, we're in good shape.
Shall we check out our feedback from the last show?
Let's do that.
All right, let's play that feedback music.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
Our question of the week for you last week. Let me just bring that down a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
Question was, you accidentally trigger a teleportation device that merges you with a household appliance. Which appliance are you now fused with? And what hilarious superpowers do you possess? I like that, hilarious superpowers.
Hilarious. Yeah.
So
right.
we have Joel. Listener Joel says, my espresso machine, because then I'd never sleep and never get tired. That's not quite how it works, but I get the idea.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
going
Mike
more
Robinson,
somewhat practical.
Yeah, Mike Robinson says, Siri, I can now listen in on people and conversations without them realizing it. Prank order stuff off the internet and send it to random people and rickroll hundreds of people at a time.
Nice.
Because possibly start playing Technorama shows and Dr. Mento tunes with different audio filters in the middle of the night, poisoning pigeons in the park, sounding like it should be being sung by Boris Karloff and or Chuck and Crick. You want to hear me singing that? No.
I sang 99 Dead Baboons yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah, we were having a retirement party.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't think Jack Mangan, he says, what? I started singing it expecting, that he was an avid Dr. Demento fan from years ago. He said, what is that? Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I asked if I could sing Dead Puppies because his daughter, 6-year-old daughter, was over, and he said, yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Sort of gave me the clear to do it. And she's laughing because my girls did not like it. Dad, don't sing that song.
It's terrible.
Mom says puppies days are through. She's going to throw him in the stew. As little girl's just laughing, going, that's funny.
Right. That is pretty funny.
And CJ's boyfriend Neil was singing along. He's like out in the hall.
Oh, he knew it?
A lot of people know Dead Puppies. Ogden Edsel. Lone Guy's Night says refrigerator. They keep extremely chill in all situations. Oh, nice move. I like that
one. That's a good one. Web Breaker, last but not least, he says, the toaster. Now I can fire hot toast at villains and bring them to heel.
Wait, isn't that? No, I'm thinking Ren and Stimpy had Powdered Toast Man.
The Powdered Toast Man. But I'm still not clear on what powdered toast is.
Got a share on here from me. I got a couple of responses in the last few hours. Lucas says, microwave. Rather than something useful, resting foods on my stomach can heat them up. Except for the center of the dish, that remains ice cold.
Hey, that sounds like something from the Matrix. Humans are a battery. Oh, let's put the food on his stomach. It'll warm it up.
Sean says, Wi-Fi router. I know what you're browsing.
Ooh.
Ah!
I know what you browsed last summer.
VPN.
VPN. That's pretty good.
All right.
I shared this, but I guess I didn't. Oh well. Sorry.
Did you have an answer for yours?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I should have thought of one. I'm sorry, I didn't. What about you?
So it's a household appliance, not necessarily a kitchen appliance, because we had a Wi-Fi router and we had some other stuff. I wanted to think kind of out of the box, not just go refrigerator or stove or toaster, something that's easy to name. An appliance. Could be television, man.
I got one.
Yeah.
All right. It's not really exactly an appliance, but I'm more like a hot glue gun. I'm always fixing things.
You're right. That's not an appliance.
so but useful nonetheless, wouldn't you say?
Sure.
All right.
It means you're always like leaving irritating drippings and strings behind.
Well, that's all part of
clean up
fixing
after.
stuff. But yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
Stuff to clean up after.
that's right. Exactly.
Slow to start.
No, I'm more like a fast hot glue gun.
No, that's not what you said.
Yeah,
Now you're making up fictitious things.
I'm upgrading it as I go.
Alrighty, let's close that out. We'll come back with another question for you at the end of the show. On with the history. On this day in history for September 25th, 2024, this is the 269th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 97 days remaining in 2024. Oh, hey, the banner still says pre-show. Can you fix that for a sec?
Oh, I got it.
It was on this date in 1513 that Spanish explorer Vasquez Núñez de Balboa reached what would become known as the Pacific Ocean.
That's pretty specific.
Ba-doom-tsh.
All right. 334 years ago today, public occurrences, both foreign and domestic, the first newspaper to appear in the Americas was published for the first time. Only time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a mighty expensive newspaper.
That's like, hey, I'm going to start this podcast. Only put in one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come I didn't get any listeners?
I know, right.
When can I expect the money to roll in?
That's right.
They failed because they didn't have advertising. There was no business plan for that newspaper. That'll be an interesting thing to learn. Why did it fail? Why did they start it? Who started it? What was in it?
I bet there's a YouTube documentary about it.
On September 25th, 1890, the United States Congress established Sequoia National Park, the only national park with all 5 vowels in its name. Oh, I'd make that claim without any fact checking.
Yeah. Well, also today in 1906, Leonardo Torres Quevedo demonstrated the telekinino. I keep wanting to say telekinesis. Telekino in the Bilbao, Abra, Spain, guiding an electric boat from the shore with people aboard, which was controlled at a distance of over 2 kilometers, in which was considered to be the origin of modern wireless remote control operations principle.
1906. Cool.
Wow.
68 years ago today, TAT-1, the first submarine transatlantic telephone cable system, was inaugurated.
And it was also on that date in 1974 that Dr. Frank Jobe performed first ulnar.
Ulnar.
Collateral.
It's part of the ulnar.
Ulnar collateral ligament replacement surgery, better known as Tommy John surgery. It's easier to say, on baseball player Tommy John.
Well, that's convenient. Doc, I need you to fix this bone in my arm. You know what? You're in luck.
Yeah, we have a surgery named Larry Joe. I'm just kidding.
I'll give you $1 to name it after me.
Yeah.
That same date in 1992, NASA launched the Mars Observer. 11 months later, the probe failed while preparing for orbital insertion. Happy birthday goes out on this date to Ole Romer, the Danish astronomer and instrument maker who was born 380 years ago today.
And English explorer and navigator Stephen Burrow, born on this date in 1525.
French geologist and engineer Jean-Baptiste Hilaire de Beaumont was born 226 years ago today.
And German paleontologist and geologist Carl Alfred von Sittel was born on this date in 1839.
Born September 25th, 1893, Swedish mathematician and statistician Harold Kremer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was more than one line. American author, poet, illustrator, and songwriter. He did it all. Shel Silverstein was born on this date in 1930.
Silverstein. He's the guy who wrote Where the Wild Things Are and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Wasn't your hump on the other side?
Nice reference. English mathematician and scholar Brian John Birch is 93 today.
And also born on that same day in 1937, American computer scientist and lawyer Mary Allen Wilkes.
American actor, singer, and director Anson Williams. Potsy from Happy Days is 75.
And American singer and producer, American.
Actor.
Mark Hamill was born in this date in
You
19.
got the actor part. You went singer and producer. Like, you kind of missed the thing he's most known for.
I don't know why I did that. And Skywalker, Mark Hamill.
Superman, Christopher Reeve, American actor, producer, and activist, was born on the same date in 1952.
And also born on that same date in 1956, American computer scientist, engineer, author, founded the Thinking Machines Corporation, W. Daniel Hillis.
The Thinking Machines Corporation. I'm going to have to look that one up.
They were groundbreaking in AI.
Finally, special effects designer and television host, founded M5 Industries, Jamie Heineman, born in the state in 1956. Listener birthdays this week include one and only one that we've got on record, and that would be Stephen Weshy on October 1st, also known as 101. We should just turn that into National Technorama Day.
That sounds good to me.
Let's petition Congress for a national holiday, and everybody can have a day off work.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
That would go, what? Happy birthday to all of you. If it's your birthday this week and you're not on the birthday calendar, we wish you all the best. If you would like to be on the birthday calendar, it's very, very easy. You go to chuckchat.com/birthday, and we'll put it out there on the right time of year, regardless of whether or not Craig has the banner up or not.
Oh, is there a banner for this? Oh, hold on.
Too late.
No, it's not.
The band is leaving.
Wait a minute.
Oh, there it is.
Impending news, everyone!
Or maybe I should have done the good startling news, everyone.
Yeah.
There.
Good startling news, everyone!
Well, the story from our first news article is that 3 Mile Island nuclear site is coming back. Well, I mean, it's never really been gone. It's always been there, but
when I read this, by the way, when I saw this article, I was like, whoa. I had to go back and look at it again before I flagged it for the show notes, because it just like, wait, 3 Mile Island, was it actually gone? Is it here? And the state of the things right now, we've got to turn it back on.
Yeah. So many of us are old enough to remember 3 Mile Island near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 1979, had a partial meltdown in one of the reactors when a coolant valve failed to do its job, and it was pretty near disastrous. And that has been long time considered the U.S.'s worst nuclear disaster to date. And now they're reopening it so Microsoft can power their AI engine.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Wow, making news twice, and the second time is because you got to save AI or provide power
and cryptocurrency, apparently, both of which require huge amounts of power. So, I'm hoping Microsoft has a data center nearby that is supporting this, and that they really double, triple check all the safety factors. A lot of times we learn from accidents and how to make things better. Just look at the airline industry. How many safety things we've learned from crashes and go, oh, well, we better not do that again, or we better watch out for that. And we've made the industry safer by learning from the mistakes of the past, whether they're natural or man-made or whatever. So have we learned enough in the nuclear industry? Because no new reactors have been brought online in, what is it, like 30 years or something? They're even
I don't think a lot has, but my father has worked on a lot, and he says on a lot of nuclear reactors. And
well, that explains why you're different.
No, he said, he was telling me that it's a lot safer than you think, but yes, there's the potential for 3 Mile Island or Fukushima or whatever.
Homer Simpson can run one.
Yeah, right. But he says a lot safer, and not only that, but Bill Gates funds a company, which the same company runs 3 Mile Island or has possession of it. But that company is building miniature reactors, smaller reactors
Mhm.
that are a lot safer in regards to, if something was to happen, it just stops. It doesn't it's not like it's going to spew into the atmosphere a bunch of radiation. Uh, so he has an invested interest in this as well. But yeah, this is supposed to be this is a big thing. Seems like because it was being decommissioned. Was it, what did it say, 2000? I forget what year it actually was running until not too long ago, a few years ago.
Okay.
So they're reopening it. So they hope to have it back open in 2028.
I wish them luck. I hope it's to everybody's satisfaction. It still needs some approval from local authorities and whatnot, and of course the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Yeah,
is-
and they'll be making some upgrades to it, modern upgrades up to it. And it's not like they're going to turn on, your Apple IIe, and hope that you can, keep the company afloat. It's
Imagine-
actually, they're going to revamp it and get it.
Yeah, this nuclear reactor is older than an Apple IIe, if you can picture that.
Yes,
So,
it is.
yeah, hope they made some upgrades.
Yeah,
At least got the 64K RAM upgrade.
right.
All right, on to the next story from Mashable.com reporting that NASA's Jupiter Europa probe, the Europa Clipper mission, is being ready to launch as soon as October 10th. This will go out and explore the icy moon world and use radar imaging to tell us if there is in fact liquid water under there, how much, and could it potentially support life. So this thing is huge. It's big because it's got you're only getting like 4% of the sun's power out there. So it has to have massive solar collectors. It is
Yeah.
as big as a basketball court, measuring, what do they say, 30 meters or more?
Yeah, 100 feet. That's
100,
right.
feet? Yeah. So it I love looking at like the artist's rendering of what the slice of Europa could look like. Because it reminds me of a lot of those images, like, this is what we think it looks like. And everybody go, oh, that's cool. And then you get there and go, ooh, we were really wrong about that.
It looks like they just took a cross section of Earth and just put some ice over the top.
Kind of.
Yeah. But this is cool. I've been kind of looking forward to seeing this. I didn't realize it's supposed to launch so soon.
Yep. It will take a while to get there. And I think they said was this one also 2030 when it gets out there? When was it? Shame on me. I had the date.
2030.
2030 is when it's going to arrive.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of waiting, like all space missions to the outer planets.
Yeah, but you know what? 2030 will be here before you know it. Actually,
No.
Christmas of 2030 will be here before you know
Well, you
it.
think about what you were doing 6 years ago in 2018. Like, that doesn't seem that long ago.
No, it does
So,
not.
yeah, time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
Yes,
But
it
it-
is. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
That one, I'll give that.
There goes our last listener. Oh.
Speaking of icy planets, scientists, this is the second article I've heard in a week, or read or heard in a week, about what was it called? I think it's pronounced Thwaites Glacier, which
Yes.
is roughly the same square footage, mileage, meterage, whatever you want to measure it in, as the state of Florida in Antarctica. And they've termed this the Doomsday Glacier because it is retreating, and they don't know when, but they do know that it is increasing. They said it's been retreating for the last 80 years and considerably faster over the last 30.
Hmm.
However, they don't know if it's going to break off and melt in a week or 100 years. So, but the trend is continuing. And the reason they're
Right.
so concerned, I've heard estimates anywhere from it can raise sea levels globally 2 to 10 feet. Now, think of all of the cities that live along a coast, or
Well,
all
I
of
can
the
just
islands in the Pacific that are only like 2 feet above sea level.
Well, I can think of just like the beach. There's what 50 feet of beach area, and the water's going to come up.
Yep.
That in itself is yes.
Yeah, this is scary stuff. And once it breaks loose or melts, there's no coming back from it. Takes a long time to build a new glacier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
You have to, turn the AC down on the world for a few millennia.
Well, I'll do my part. I got one in the window right
That's
over there.
Not
There
helping, Craig.
we go.
Yeah, suddenly there's a glacier in Craig's shed that extends as far as the door.
Yeah. Why isn't Craig responding to my text? I don't know.
He's frozen in carbonite.
Right.
Finally, in our news story, NASA is pretty convinced, or at least some of the readers on Slashdot are, that NASA can find evidence of life on another planet within the next 25 years. Do you believe it?
I believe so.
The quote from the Washington Post from Dave Eggers says, in all likelihood, in the next 25 years, we will find evidence of life on another planet. Eggers' article is part of an ongoing series called Who is Government? I'm not sure I see the connection to life on another planet, but I haven't read the book either. This week, Eggers wrote that the work being done at NASA's JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is the most inspiring research and exploration being done by any humans on our planet. So very optimistic. No billionaires will fund the work because there's no money in it.
Yeah. Right.
Unless you're the Ferengi and you want to set up trade with these new life forms. This is government-funded research to determine how the universe was created and whether we are alone in it. If NASA and JPL were not doing it, it would not be done.
Well, it kind of goes back to, remember, I know you're excited about, you can get excited about science and the exploration and everything about this, but like going to Mars, is that the best of our use of resources? It's like, what does it matter if we're alone in the world, in the universe, or not? We should be worried about our own existence at this point.
Well, going to Mars was, hey, we better start colonizing another planet because we're making a mess of this one. Well, if you ask me, relatively speaking, Mars is a lot more hostile to live in than this world is, at least for the next 100 years.
Right.
So why not spend some of that money fixing the problems we've got? Like there's massive amounts of work. We talked about this, I think, the last week. China's made some great strides into nuclear fusion energy.
Yes. Yeah.
So if we could keep funding that, then we can basically, in short order, turn off all the carbon-based energy sources, coal, gasoline.
That's my point. Is I'm excited to find out these things, but at the same time, it's not probably the best use of our resources for the problems that we have here.
They say $5 billion to go and see if there's life on Europa. I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we've gained and learned from space exploration. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Just look at the moon missions as an example. What a world we'd have if we didn't have Velcro to tie our shoes.
Right.
Or play that game where you throw a ball and catch it with a Velcro circular mitt. All joking aside, the scientific missions are great, but yeah, we have a lot of problems here that we need to fix. And, if I were emperor of the world, I'd probably spend the money a little differently.
Right. Exactly.
But that's not happening anytime soon. So we're just going to have to get out there and vote for a new emperor. That's my PSA for you. If you're living in a country that holds free elections, do your civic duty. All right, on to the Hex of Strange Stories. Speaking of more global problems, plastics. They're a bane for garbage and disposal, and they don't break down very well. Most of which, the nastiest two, are polypropylene and polyethylene. The most difficult and expensive plastics to separate from each other in a mixed waste system, the article from Ars Technica goes on to say. However, they are looking at ways to react these with other chemicals and break them down into their constituent parts, which can be recycled easily. Propylene, if you take polypropylene and break that down, you get propylene, and polyethylene breaks down into isobutylene. So they're figuring this out to help break them down into they turn them into gases. So I don't know if they're vaporizing these things or just going here, let's mix a little chemical A with chemical B and but you'd have to have a way to capture that gas because I can't imagine putting those into the atmosphere would be very good.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So good news on the recycling front.
By the way, there was also I wish I had saved the article, but it was an article where there's a company they have it's like a big they produce not a ship but a big device that it's in the ocean, and it actually can pull a lot of the plastics from that Pacific garbage heap that's basically out there, and they said within the next 5 years they'll have that removed
from the great circling garbage in the Pacific.
That's what they said. I got to find that article.
Of them.
Yeah, that's pretty
that
awesome.
Would be interesting if they could clean that up.
Yeah, because that whole big island of garbage, as it breaks down, look at all the microplastics that just kind of float away from that once those bottles start to break down due to the sunlight and the ocean and the motion, beating against each other. It's going to break apart over time and just be worse. So, I'm gonna find that article and maybe we'll talk about it next week. But that's pretty amazing. I thought
it's going to break down and it's going to become part of the rock strata, so that kind of like the KT layer. When they go, look below this layer, there's no humans. Then you have the great plastic layer.
It's got like Coke logos on it and Mountain Dew and.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Below this level is the humans. Above this level, no humans.
Right. So.
Quick shout out to the chat. We did have one other viewer in here. Lisa commented she's in agreement that we should spend more money saving us poor humans on our planet.
Yeah. I mean, the curiosity part of me, like I said, really wants to know, see what we can find. But yeah, then the practicality part is like, do we really need to do that?
In what? Yeah. Can we put this on hold until we get our own house in order?
No.
Because
it'll never happen.
Come and take over.
Yeah, that'd be an ongoing debate for a long time.
Sounds like another episode of Futurama. Here comes Lur and Inda to come and take us over while our planet is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Or Morbo's race.
It has worked. My plan is complete.
Do not watch the news. We will consume you. All right. You can watch us. We do encourage you to watch us every Sunday night at 8:30 Eastern time. We are here live. We'd love to converse with you. There's Lisa.
But space, I agree with.
Space is cooler to spend money on. Yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Space is very, very cold. What was that from Wrath of Khan? They say in space is very, very cold.
That's right.
Revenge is a dish best served
Revenge
cold.
is a dish best served cold. The old Klingon proverb.
So space is made out of revenge is made out of lutefisk. Probably smells as bad too.
Yeah.
Join us. You can find out on YouTube and Facebook when we are live on this show. We try to do this every Sunday. Sometimes when personal schedules get in the way, we got to move to Monday or even postpone it entirely. But we would love to have you hang out with us like Lisa and Karen are doing. And maybe if you enjoy the show, you could become one of the patrons. These are the people that keep this show going. We have 28 of them on the list right now, which I proudly announce to the world. We'd love to have you on that list as well. People like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan D. Man Coyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook.
Yeah.
All of them make a generous donation when we create content. There's the money that supports it. We can do live streaming. We can do hosting to give you this podcast. All that stuff that takes a little bit of cash. I'm sure we'd go into the poorhouse without the support, but we graciously appreciate this. And in return, you get your name read off. You get an extra episode where Craig and I talk about the lives of a podcaster. Stuff.
How riveting.
Yeah. I've seen stupider shows.
Well, true.
And they get postcards. We send out 1 or 2 postcards a year as thanks. What else? There's t-shirts for a certain level. And as mentioned last week, we are looking at redoing that because Patreon is changing from a per content model. Yep. Where, let's say we put out 1 show a month, you pay for 1 show. We put out 5 shows a month, you pay for 5 shows. And we're trying to figure out, what's been our cadence, how many throughout the year, what a monthly subscription might look like. And to be fair to you, we're not going to jack up the prices, like suddenly Netflix goes, it's not $9.99 anymore, it's $14.99. Fork it on over.
That's not what you said in the meeting last week.
What did I say?
You're going to jack it up. Just like Netflix.
Craig is using AI to make me say things again.
Yeah.
Not what I said. We're not trying to get rich off of this. We're just trying to cover our costs. Right. And again, greatly appreciate all that you do. If you want to be part of this, you find this show entertaining, informative, lively discussion, or you just feel sorry for us, you can go over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast.
Yeah, that'll hook them.
I used to be in marketing till a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. Now I see why you didn't.
I told you this show runs on sarcasm and self-deprecating humor.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, band. Let's get you out of here and move on to the part where Craig and I now discuss things we've read, things we've watched, where we find them, what we think about them. All right. Kick us off, Craig.
All right. So the first thing I watched this last week was Apollo 11 First Steps Edition. And I think this is a CNN production, one of the documentaries that they put out.
This is CNN.
But I watched it on Tubi. And it's a documentary about Apollo 11, but it's showing only archival footage, any video they found, photos, audio recordings, to present it. Now, of course, you, I, and others have seen this story a million times, understand what it was about, but there was some really cool footage in there, especially of, I would say, the families of the astronauts that were, in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see their wives, kind of how they were handling things a little bit. That part was really interesting. Not to say that the whole story isn't, but just to see some of those things that I haven't seen before. Again, how it played out, but to see it in photos and video is really cool.
Did they address a conspiracy theorist who say it didn't happen?
No, they didn't. It was
on the moon. It's just a light up in the sky.
Although it took place over a week's worth of time, maybe, but this actually was in real time, like I said, with the video and the pictures and stuff. So they didn't address any of that stuff. It wasn't somebody even narrating it. It was all told by the videos and pictures and audio that they had.
It was in real time, so you had to wait 8 hours while they slept.
It was the longest stupid movie. No, wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Chronological, but yeah.
Sure. Okay.
So I enjoyed it
on Tubi. First Steps Edition. There's another, I can't remember where it was. It might have been on Disney, Netflix, about Apollo 13. So another Apollo 13 show floating out there that's recently been produced. I'll see if I can find it and give you a report on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
My first one is I finished up The Acolyte on Disney Plus. Season 1 clearly ends with the impression that there's another season coming. So 8 episodes. This is a prequel about 100 years before the whole Star Wars saga unfolds. There
That's
are
right.
Jedi. We're learning they're an early intro to the Sith. In fact, they say, "What are you?" It's like, some may call me Sith.
Yeah.
It's like, sounds like
We're still workshopping the name, but some may call me Sith.
there are those who call me Tim.
Yeah. Right.
I enjoyed it from a storytelling standpoint. I got a little confused because there are twin girls,
Yes.
Osha and May, and it's hard to keep track of who's like the good girl and who's the the one who's not quite following the rules.
Well, the problem I had with that, just that point specifically, was they both, not only did they look alike, but they had the same hairstyle and everything.
Yeah.
And you're going, all right, who am I looking at? Who am I
Well,
listening
and they did some of that intentionally because one of them went through this ceremony and got this distinctive mark on her forehead.
Right.
So their hair intentionally obscured that. And I think even when one was impersonating the other, she put a false mark on her head, which wasn't always obvious. You could tell at certain points, oh, this one's got long hair. So
melting, the thing's melting.
Right. That's May.
Yeah.
And then May impersonates Osha by giving herself a haircut and switching clothes. Okay.
Yeah.
But just from the motivation of, wait, what was driving Osha and what was driving May? When they were little, they did this, and May, set a fire and da 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 da.
Yeah.
But now she was the one who wanted to follow her family order. So I'm just trying to unpack all this stuff as it was moving, and I found it a little difficult at times.
Well, they even kind of switched positions.
Right.
And then you're like, I was even more confused. I'm like, okay, which one am I listening to?
I didn't have a problem when May was impersonating Osha because ultimately, the characters around both of them figure it out real fast. But then it seemed like their motivations changed. The one that was following that was being an acolyte wasn't, and then the one who said, "There's no way I'm going to follow this guy," starts like hanging around and listening to him, going, "What? Why?"
Yeah.
So,
see, visually, I think I told you when you talked about this before. Visually, I thought this was stunning. And the lightsaber fights were fantastic. All that visual stuff, and then there was a few surprises. Like it's been out for a while now, so I think it's okay to say
lots of Jedi die.
Well, the Wookiee Jedi,
yes,
seeing him, doing stuff, I'm like, holy crap! That was mind blowing. Something we hadn't seen before. So there was a lot of good to it, but unfortunately, there is not going to be a season 2.
Why not?
I have nothing to do with it.
We don't know what happens to Osha. I mean, they leave us hanging, going, "All right," and maybe that's okay because this guy was looking for an acolyte. That's the Sith version of a Padawan. He said, "All I want is a student," and you kind of get the impression that, all right, Osha stepped into that role, but I don't know.
I thought it was a good series, though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah, it was a bit challenging at times to keep track of who's doing what. All right, what else you been up to?
All right, so I'm going to combine these two together because they kind of went hand in hand. So Wednesday night, Harrison and I went to go see Weezer, and they played in Greenville, and they put on a fantastic show. First off, opening was Dinosaur Jr., which, I know a little bit about him, but I never really listened to him that much. didn't really care for them at that show because at first I thought, where we're sitting, is this the way the audio is going to be all night? But no, it was just the band. Then the Flaming Lips played, which they're a little more well known, and really enjoyed their show. They had a lot of inflatables and all kinds of stuff going on, part of the show.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then Weezer comes on. Of course, everybody is there to see Weezer, and the concert was Voyage to the Blue Planet, and it starts off with they're leaving Earth to go to a blue planet. Earth is sending Weezer, the band, to go save this planet. The planet's dying. They go there, and they play the Blue album, which is the 30th anniversary of the Blue album that came out in '94.
Right.
And so so the concert goes as they're traveling on the screen behind them, which was really cool. They had some great visuals. They're going by Mars, they're going by Saturn, and get all the way to the blue planet. They're playing songs like you would hear at the end of a show, a mix of different songs. They played those at first. Then when they got to the blue planet, they go, oh, maybe we need to play our Blue album to revive the planet. And they did. They played the entire Blue album, start to finish.
Wow.
Everything. Even if you listen to the Blue album, the end, it has a little end to it that they added onto it as well. And the concert was like, wow, they really did play the entire Blue album. And it was fantastic. I had a great time with that show. So the next night, Thursday night, Kim and I went to Charlotte to catch Hootie and the Blowfish. And
Nice.
we saw it had Edwin McCain there. He opened. I like Edwin McCain's music, but it's not really rockin' music. It's more kind of easygoing
Yeah.
kind of music. And then they had Collective Soul. I know you're familiar with Collective Soul, especially through karaoke. They put on a great show leading into Hootie and the Blowfish, and then Hootie finished it out. And it was just a really great show. Fantastic. And of course, they all played some music together, all three bands, they all played music together. And then towards the end, I think did this last time we saw Hootie, was that during the last song, they broke into a disco song, and they did, they started going, get down on it, dun, dun, get down. And they were doing the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then they got back into their song as all part of the encore. So it was great. Yeah, they put on a fantastic show. I'll go see them 100 times. It's fantastic.
Cool. I've got one more. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, as I always do each week. Filtered a few of them into the Geek Library. One that stood out to me is the one that I'll do here, is why your Nintendo or other old device that displayed on your TV was set to channel 3. Remember, they always had like that channel 3-4 switch?
Yes.
Some of them had channel 2 and 3. Great explanation about how the channels are set up, what frequencies they ran on. A lot of it came down to cost, convenience, and you obviously want to stay away from broadcast channels, because over the air channels, you had to get where things were popular. It was funny because they said, so by virtue of this, the two least populated channels in most large metro areas were 3 and 6. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Those were the two channels that I watched.
I was going to say, especially in the Charlotte area, I remember, 3 for sure. They're still broadcasting, of course. Yeah, and channel 6. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it was like New York, Chicago, LA. They were all like 2, 5, 7. It was like, okay, well.
Wasn't like one of the without watching that, I'm trying to remember from memory. One of those two channels was kind of reserved for public use. That's why they were on. You had to switch from 3 to 4, whichever one was available.
Well, they're all requiring FCC transmitters if you were doing the old UHF stuff. Or not, that wasn't you. That was VHF.
VHF.
Yeah. UHF was when you start getting like channel 33 That
Why,
was
why,
also
why was the switch for 3 and 4 then?
why?
Yeah.
Because if you ran into most areas did not have 3 and 4.
Okay.
So if you had a local station that was broadcasting on 4, you set your switch to 3, and then your RF device, your Nintendo, your Atari 2600, whatever, would come in on 3. If you had a local station for 3, then you switch it to 4 and you come in on that. So it was just where do you want to have the least interference? But it
It-
got into the real technical frequencies and how they're broken up. I didn't know until I watched this that there's actually a break in the frequencies between 2 and 6 and then 7 and 13. There's this gap in the frequencies. Like, man,
yeah.
making a TV back in the old days must have been challenging.
Yeah. I think I did. I think I was aware of that a little bit because I was reading. This has been a long time ago. Uh, the FCC was putting up some frequencies for auction, and T-Mobile was trying to get it, and uh, other mobile networks because it would penetrate walls better or whatever. But the thing was, they said, oh, it's frequency this and this, and then there's a gap, and
Mhm.
then there was another frequency that went along with it, and I just found out at that point is they're even on broadcast TV they had some weird ranges that were kind of broken out. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff that we just kind of took for granted at the time and then moved away from it, but I didn't understand it as a child. I'm sure if I had been in college in the 70s instead of the 80s, it would have come up a little more frequently. But
Yeah.
the other one that's kind of related to that is a video that I linked in the Geek Library, Sony's breakthrough color TV. They're talking about the Sony Trinitron.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Very crisp, very clear, for the time. They do talk a little bit about how TVs work with the electron gun, and then they got into color TV, and some of them had this spinning color wheel thing on the camera, and it was red and green, so the colors sort of always looked off. And then they were eventually able to add blue without
Mhm.
causing people to have seizures from
Right.
the flickering colors. And then how do you do this with 3 color guns and make them converge? It was really interesting. So if you want to check it out, go over to our show notes for episode 754 at chuckchat.com, and you find out how
Oh,
the Trinitron and that TV lasted a long time. They had a run of like 15 years or more on that. It ran a
oh,
long
feels
time.
like it was longer than that, but yeah,
No,
maybe.
they manufactured them. Obviously, TVs run for a long time. You buy one and you own
Well,
it for 10 or 15 years.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was starting to think of stadiums where they go, oh, look at the big the Trinitron,
That's the Jumbotron.
Jumbotron. I know. That's what I know. That's what I was working through.
Look at the big Megatron. Ah!
Yeah, man. Girl, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
All right.
Oh, by the
Awesome.
way,
Yeah.
speaking of the Weezer concert, I found on Reddit they had a Weezer subreddit, and um, even on Facebook, I posted. I know we talked about this before, but I said I'm glad finally got to see Weezer. I've been wanting to see them since I found them on that Windows 95 CD. 'Cause-
Wow.
yeah, Windows
Wow.
95. That was that, and Edie Brickell had a video on the disc.
All right, that takes us to the end of the show. That means
Yeah.
we just got one thing to leave you with a thought for our question of the week next week. If you could invent a gadget from any sci-fi movie or show, what would it be? And what hilariously impractical use would you put it to? It sounds like you had something in mind when you wrote this.
I was thinking, like we've joked about this before, using a lightsaber to light a cigarette.
There you go. There's your inspiration. Follow on with that, dear listener.
that's what came to mind. To be honest with you.
Invent a transporter, so like kind of like the thing longer, so you don't have to go over there to get something.
Yeah, just put it. There's a transporter in the refrigerator. It sends me a beer every once in a while. Just I don't have to get up.
Whew. Now I don't need my beer robot anymore.
Right.
Beer robot out of business. Okay, that's our question of the week. We'll post that to social media and see what creativity you come up with this week. Until
Right.
then, play the music. We'll do our outro. You can find us over at chuckchat.com or look for Technorama Podcast, where you can find popular podcasts. We invite you to subscribe to this podcast, get it automatically delivered to you. If you want to get in touch with us, comment about anything we said or corrections, that's usually where we get a lot of it. 707-530-2428. We forgot to play Joe's message. We'll play it next week. He had a comment. I just realized that. We got to remember that we put the things together for the voicemail.
Yeah.
Or you can email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. We will both get that and review it. And if we like it, we'll put it on the air. It's not that we didn't like Joe's comment. We just forgot. Had a short runway this week. Had a lot going on.
Sorry, Joe.
So till next time, give us a binary high five.
All right. 101.
Audio recording is done. Video recording is about to terminate.
Yep.
All our viewers have already terminated or retired.
Oh, I'm out of here. This sucks.
So with that, we will bid you farewell. Till next time. We do plan on recording again next week, which would be the 29th of October. Not October, September.
Yep.
I blame COVID for messing up my calendar brain.
Blame
Until
retirement.
then, we'll see. Yeah, retirement. Every day is a Saturday for me.
That's right. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye.